All right, testing. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We're live, folks. What is up, everyone? And welcome to another episode of Weeb Talk, episode 24. Now, if you guys have not checked out episode 23, I highly recommend you guys check out episode 23. And, of course, the other episodes that are also on my playlist that you guys can check out in the public section somewhere, like, around the end of this podcast. But, yeah, definitely go check them out. And, yeah, give it a like, comment, and subscribe for more Weeb Talk episodes and more good stuff to talk about, especially some nerd topics that I've been doing for quite a long time. But anyways, for this one, I want to talk about fitness. Now, not just any type of fitness. It's more just like, the training regimen and just how applicable, is that the right word? Applicable. These training exercises that these anime characters would do. For example, Son Goku from Dragon Ball Z, Naruto Uzumaki from the Naruto series, Ichigo, kinda. Although the only training I seen him do was mostly with sword training. Although I will still say that it does technically count in some sort of ways if you do like kendo for a living or whatnot. So it's a little different. Um, I would say Baki, although I haven't caught up with Baki in quite some bit of time. Uh, that works. Hajime no Ippo, and also Kengan Ashura, and One Punch Man, My Academia, and I think Black Clover, to a certain extent. Yeah, to a certain extent, and Fairy Tail. I think that's I can like somewhat think of the top of my head of like the shows that has like most training sessions. Although the only training sessions that is like more well known and recognizable is of course Dragon Ball Z. So for case of simplicity, I'm mostly going to be kind of using that. But I will, mention like a few training regimens of like other characters that do. So, but just for like simplicity's sake, I'm just gonna stick with Dragon Ball Z. Mostly just like covering how like Goku, pretty much trains or whatnot. Well, somewhat, while just like adding into a lot of other things. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive into something. Actually, hold on a second. And we're back. Sorry, I had to take a bit of a break there, but let's go ahead and get into today's topic, which would be fitness training. So, I got like, I got like 10 topics that we're gonna be talking about, which would be, you know, what do most anime characters train in? Calisthenics or weightlifting. Just bring it up. Yes. Yeah. Just put it back. How realistic are the workouts in anime? Is it possible to achieve a similar physique as an anime protagonist? What are the body fat percentages? Is it possible to realistically maintain? Can you be able to transform yourself into a Super Saiyan? We'll see. What foods do they normally eat to maintain a balanced energy? Do they train exclusively for hypertrophy or strength? How much cardio do they do on a daily basis? This one's a little bit long to say, but we're gonna go ahead and go for it. With the power, strength, and cardio conditioning we currently have, without, of course, the use of fictional powers or whatnot to enhance our abilities, is it possible? Is there a possibility to push beyond human limitation and achieve something extraordinary? Or are we pretty much like somewhat doomed to stay as humans forever, but we do our best to get closer to our goals? And then just to end things off, outro, is of course, stay healthy, exercise regularly. I'll get into that when we get to outro. But for now, let's go ahead and start off with the first topic, and that would be, what do most anime characters train in? Calisthenics or weightlifting? So, just from a lot of like shows that are like popping and whatnot, that are like recognizable. Of course, Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, One Piece. I already mentioned them, so I don't really need to beat the dead horse there. But majority of the time, just from like watching their training filler arcs in like certain episodes, they usually train calisthenics at least as much as possible. Like mostly bodyweight training, because it's the same thing. But calisthenics and bodyweight training is kind of the same thing. But it's just what they mostly do is like they go with like high rep, push ups, sit ups, handstand push ups. Back when like Goku was training like the was it the hyperbolic? No, no, not the hyperbolic time chamber. It was the gravity training session where he was going to Planet Namek to save his son, his best friend Krillin, and Piccolo from was it Piccolo? No, Piccolo right later. My bad. And Vegeta, and they were dealing with the Guiding Force, of course, but we won't get into too much into that. But majority of the time they do lots of calisthenics, like again, like 1,000 rep push up, 1,000 rep sit ups, sometimes 1,000 rep sit ups, but like hanging upside down. All right, even like 100 squats and 100 push ups and 3 kilometer run, in which case would be Saitama from One Punch Man, which can be done realistically, albeit I don't think you can end up like all of a sudden, one punching everybody. Although that would be freaking cool to do, but the show also like shows that with that kind of power, it can cause some mental health issues. But otherwise, yeah, majority of the time, the anime characters usually train in calisthenics. Albeit there would be some times they will do weightlifting. Like for example, Zoro from One Piece, he does weightlifting, albeit in his own unique way, where it's like, yes, it is shown that majority of the time he does fight, sword style. He uses like a lot of things mostly just to like get better as a swordsman. But he uses resistance, like a big force to like become a better swinger with the sword, and it's like it's insane to see sometimes whenever he does that, because it's like he uses like weights that even like strong men would love to lift, but for some reason cannot. But it's just like it's insane to see sometimes, and I'm just like looking like, dang, no wonder why he's buff and jack, because he does this and that. Like, yeah, he'll sometimes do like calisthenics, but majority of the time we know he's mostly doing like weightlifting. Most of the time he just be lifting anything. Heck, I guess like in the flashback he was lifting boulders, like he was squatting boulders and stuff, and then that iconic scene where he had like what was it, the bar in his mouth, and like he was just constantly like pulling the rock so many times, going hoo 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 like that. And I would say the best combination to like do both is actually Mike Guy and Rock Lee from the Naruto series. And the reason why is because they both do some sort of like resistance training mixed in with, of course, martial arts and some calisthenics, of course, but it is mixed in with some like resistance training. Like for example, y'all remember when Rock Lee had like those like weighted what you call it, ankles, and like he takes them off and it was just like the coldest scene ever. Like it really was. And yeah, he was a beast, man. Oh, man, I to this day I just think to myself like they completely just underutilized Rock Lee for no reason. Because it's like, again, they could have done something with the character, albeit they probably kind of did when he had his own series. But even still, it felt like it was a little too late. Because like in Naruto Shippuden, they did not do jack crap to Rock Lee. Now don't get me wrong, my guy had his moment, which was so awesome. But it would be just so nice to just at least have Rock Lee have his moment too, to like avenge his sensei by even adding further damage to Madara Uchiha. You see what I'm saying? Like, so it's like these are like really great characters that they have. It's just that they just don't know how to utilize them. Heck, it's like such a pain in the ass sometimes too, because It even happened in you know what? I'm getting off topic. I'll talk about that another time. But anyways, all I'm saying is just like Rock Lee and my guy are the best of both worlds when it comes to calisthenics and weightlifting, to a certain extent. Now, weightlifting, I don't know if they do like arm curls or like dumbbell and lat pull downs in their spare time. Albeit, I wouldn't be surprised if they did. But it's just like majority of the time they probably just use it as like a supplement to their already like conditioned body and stuff. Because majority of the time they're more focused on conditioning their body and just like getting strong, kind of like a fighter essentially. Where sometimes they'll put on like weighted vests, like feel the weight and gravity, and then when you take it off, you start like feeling light and start doing some cool stuff. Heck, let's even go back to the Dragon Ball series too. Like for example, when Goku came back from his training for quite a long time and got taller and became like a teenager or whatnot, he was wearing a weighted vest too, and it was pretty much the similar concept as how Rock Lee would wear weighted ankles and stuff, and it was cool to see. And yeah, I guess Goku kind of also counts as another person that does do both as well. Now that I think about it, because even in the same training that he did in the gravity chamber and sometimes hyperbolic chamber, he does both calisthenics and weightlifting all at the same time. So it's like kind of cool if you think about it. Man, this guy is OP. Holy fuck. No wonder why Goku is the way he is. That is crazy. Good shit, man. But yeah. Let's see. I would say like just for now, like most anime characters usually train calisthenics, with the exception of like someone that just trains pure weightlifting, and that would be Zoro. With the exception of Zoro and maybe like a few other characters that does like some sort of like weight lifting training to a certain extent, like I guess maybe Guts from Berserk to a certain extent, maybe if you can see it. I don't know. But otherwise, just besides that, majority of the characters usually do like calisthenics. So it's kind of cool to see that. Next topic. How realistic are the workouts in anime? So, how realistic is it? Does it make sense for a human being to be doing these like workouts that these anime characters be doing? Yes, and also no. Yes, there's like some real life equivalents to like do some like really cool exercise, like get stronger, of course, mentioning calisthenics and weightlifting. However, because these characters have like again extraordinary abilities, because they're fictional characters obviously, but it's just they do something like absolutely ridiculous, like like continue with this trend. Hell, even like for example something like realistic anime like Baki, Hajime no Ippo, and also Kenshin, not Kenshin, Kenji. Hold on a second. I'm trying to remember. Kengan Ashura. Kengan Ashura. Yeah. Those like realistic animes or whatnot, like they even have their like ridiculous moments too, where it's just like it feels a bit unrealistic, but again, it still is in the realm of reality. So I would say in some realm of reality there is some caveat, albeit you might not end up turning, like I don't know, like so much into like I won't get to the 6% part later. But I will definitely say like you might be able to like, get something, equivalent to that, like, enhanced abilities when it comes to like, speed and strength or whatnot. But yeah, I think it's somewhat realistic, albeit like you're probably not going to, I guess for another example, Baki, where it's like you're probably not going to end up like jumping off a cliff and then sometimes also fighting against giant ass apes and then sometimes wanted to defeat your abusive ass of a father. And yeah, definitely nothing like that. But yes, you can definitely do the equivalents to that. Again, what we still have in real life. Again, the push-ups, sit-ups, dumbbell exercises such as like, arm curls, butterflies, lat pull downs, kind of. Or actually, shoulder press, my bad. Shoulder press. Shoulder press. I hope I said it right. But yeah, shoulder press and um, what's this called? Rows. Yes, dumbbell rolls. Rolls. Yeah, dumbbell rolls and oh, reverse lunges. I think they do it in anime, but they probably do it in spare time. But anyways, how are we doing with time? How are we doing time? Okay, we're doing okay. We're doing fairly okay. But yeah, how realistic are the workouts in anime? Hold on, guys. Hold on, guys. Oh, so sorry, guys. Mic was not on. Anyways, let's go ahead and get back to the topic at hand. That is, oh yeah, is it possible to achieve a similar physique as a anime protagonist? I say, yeah. If you lean down a bit, you can achieve something similar. Now, is it going to be exactly how the body would look like in anime? Most likely not, unless you decide to pull a whole bodybuilder prep. I guess you could do that, but honestly, it's just excluding that. I just don't think it would make sense for anyone to go way below 10% body fat for any other reason other than maybe like a photo shoot or for a cosplay content or hell, like I said, bodybuilding shows or whatever. But otherwise, I would say you can achieve something that's similar to the physique that you know most anime characters have, which most of the time it varies, but it's usually like a very lean sort of body and it's just like very functional. Depends. And I would say realistically between like I say 10 to even 15% body fat, you'll get like some benefits of having a similar physique. Depending on how your body looks, it might look flabby, it might look flat. It depends on how it looks. Majority of the time, it's just like when you're lean. You might have like a six pack abs showing, or it's probably flat. It depends. It just the way it goes is like I'm trying to think because it's been a minute, but how the body works, especially when you're lean, is a little different than how it would be if you was like at a normal ish body fat percentage. It's like if you're like extremely lean, from what I've heard, it's really really bad. I mean, so bad to the point of it just feels like you're constantly dealing with death, essentially, because you have like depleted like a lot of like your hunger, your cravings, and heck, even like to a certain extent, water too. Like, even just having to consume a lot of water can bloat you up apparently and make you look more. I don't know. It's insane. It's mostly just like from bodybuilding shows, from what I've saw on YouTube here and there, of like other, you know, people that have talked about that. Like for example, like Greg Doucette has like talked about it, like synopsically. Even though I have not watched this man's channel, well, not ever, but in quite some time, and I don't really plan on ever doing so. Revival Fitness and Jeffrey Verity Schofield talked about it as well ad nauseum. But otherwise, yeah. Being lean, it depends on whether or not you're going extremely lean. Then if that's the case, no, that is highly unlikely. But if you are like at least like healthy lean, say at least at around like 10 to 15% body fat ish, at least around there, then it's like yeah, you can definitely achieve it. Again, it just depends on your physique, and really, you should just like compare your physique to your own physique. Anyways, you can use like for example, Goku's body or any of these guys' body as inspirations to get better. You know what I'm saying? Especially, I guess this version of Goku too. There's some bit of muscles here. Yeah, you guys can see, like right here. Like you get like cheese something like that, but it's just like again, gotta keep this in mind. They're fictional characters, so it's like they're gonna be drawn in a certain way, but that doesn't mean that don't at least like achieve something similar. You know, we all have like different ways of like expressing our bodies and how our bodies are, you know, pretty expressive. But yeah, definitely it's somewhat possible. But just try to like in real life terms, like how we're living right now or whatever. Just, you know, be it's best to just achieve, you know, a lean physique between 10% to 15% body fat. Because if you try to like legitimately, like I'm saying, like absolutely try to look exactly like how these guys are looking, we are looking at like at least in real life, we're definitely looking more into like the below 10%. Like we're talking like damn near like 7, 6%. And thing is, there's a select few people that can like, you know, live in that sort of life, but that's the thing. That's an exception. Normally, we do not ever go there. And even if we do attempt to, it's going to be a lot harder. But otherwise, yeah, it is possible to achieve a similar physique. Just keep it realistic. But what's next? Oh yeah. What are their body fat percentages? Is it possible to realistically maintain? It's kind of the same as the topic that we just talked about, but it's just like their specific body fat percentage. You know, like where they pretty much store body fat. You know, for anime characters. So again, let's go ahead and use Goku for example. I would say Goku, at least just from the looks of things, is at least at around 8, 7. All right, give me sometimes 5% body fat, depending on how it like really looks. But majority of the time, he's looks like he's like very lean, but also with like such, you know, incredible muscles too. Heck, even when he was like a Super Saiyan, oh my God, he was such a big boy. You know what I'm saying? Like seriously, he was thick. And then like he had to like slim down a bit because like, you know, he even like explained to when to Gohan about like he did achieve, you know, like something like far beyond. However, when he started like, you know, adding muscles or whatnot, he noticed him even in within himself that he's a lot slower. So that's why you never really see him go like grade 2, grade 3. Albeit the only person that's done that is, you know, Vegeta and Trunks. So yeah, majority of the time, like I said, back to body fat percentage. For Goku, for example, or Son Goku, is at around like 7% body fat, give or take. But that's just like being generous, because like in reality, it's probably a lot lower than that. But I would say just from visualization, you know, from like looking at his body and stuff, it's kind of at least like 7%. And then for the rest of the anime characters too, for example, like Naruto and maybe even like, dang, oh yeah, Baki and them. Okay, well, okay, but Baki, that's a completely different story. I would recommend you guys actually check out Jex Blade's video on that, because I'll do my best to somewhat say like, you know, that physique, I can't say if it's like naturally achievable, albeit if you're a bodybuilder, I guess. But like I said, go ahead and check out Jax Blaze video on that. I might probably link it to the description down below too. I'll let you guys check it out. But otherwise, um, what else? Oh, Black Clover. Asta, that's his name. Asta. Yeah, Asta. I say for Asta, I think 12 actually, or no, because he's like very ripped too. So no, 8. Yeah, and then when he bulked up, I would say like since like it has a little bit more muscles to it, I would say it kind of like bumps him up to maybe at best like a 9 or 10. But even still, like Asta, when he was like, you know, very lean before he bulked up or whatnot in the show, he was definitely a very lean boy who was able to like, you know, cultivate a lot from calisthenics from just doing that, and then like later on adding like more size to his already like existing, you know, condition. It was great to see. So I say, 8, 8 makes sense. Naruto, he does train, but he's lean, but not necessarily like ripped lean. Like I think he's like healthy fat percentage lean. Like I think I think 15 or 12, at least like in between. Because with Sasuke, he's like a little bit higher sometimes, but like I don't know. That was like really tough because the only people that actually do work out a lot is actually Rock Lee and my guy, and I'll definitely say those guys are definitely 10% body fat, straight up. Like they work out like freaking crazy. Like I love those guys, but with Naruto, I'm just like, eh, maybe 13% body fat ish, because his body is like actually a normal physique for a teenager. Because like, well, at least in the Shippuden series, because when you got older, it's hard to say, but um, yeah, I would say about 13%. Whereas like for Sasuke, his rival, 15% ish or 16. And oh yeah, if we're speaking of rivalry, let's go back to Goku real quick. Vegeta, I would say also in the same way with Goku, but just like I won't say higher, necessarily like high body fat, but he's definitely like at least like a couple or at least like 1 inch, 1% higher than Goku, just a little bit. It's like barely even noticeable, but it's like because Goku, did I say he was 8 or 7%? Okay, no, it was 7%, so that would make Vegeta 8%, depending on the situation. But yeah, with him, it's like pretty much somewhat same thing. And I think I'll do one more body fat percentage of character, and that would be somewhat realistic, but I would say Saitama. And I would say for Saitama, I think it's 12, at least in between 12 to 10% body fat, at least at around there, because he stayed relatively, consistent for like the past 3 years, ended up like losing hair because of it, and of course becoming like just insanely strong in the process due to like doing 100 push-ups, 100 squats, and running every single day, and doing 100 crunches as well. It was insane to see, and he did that consistently for like 3 years, and he ended up getting that physique. I would say that is somewhat realistic. It just depends, but like, yeah. Speaking of which, is it possible to realistically maintain? So let's go ahead and go back with Goku, for example. Um, no, not like any sort of way, like year round. Again, with the only exceptions, maybe like for a few people that can like absolutely achieve that. Now, I don't think I can like pull up names or whatnot because it's that rare. But like, yeah, no, achieving or at least like maintaining like a 7% to 8%. In Vegeta's case, um, no, definitely not. Definitely not. And if you're trying to plan on maintaining that, best of luck on trying to do that. And even for the girls too, that's going to be even a lot harder because like they already carry more fat than guys already. But what I'm saying is just like, yeah, this is definitely not maintainable to for anyone. Realistically maintainable, I should say. Yeah, realistically maintainable. Um, Naruto, I say realistically, same with Sasuke, because again, they're both, you know, 13 to 15% body fat. Definitely like a really great, body fat to, even maintain at. And you could just like do that for as long as you can, man. Really. And even if you go up to 20, like, it just depends. But it's just like, you're pretty much good. As long as you stay at least between 10 to 20% body fat, you're good. At least like in between that, you're good. Now it's gonna get like a lot complicated. Let's say again, if it goes lower or it goes higher, then yes, that's a bit of a problem. But that's for another time. But we're talking about like if it's realistically to maintain. And then another example would be Saitama, also realistically to maintain as well, depending on your body size. Now I think if you're like a I don't know if I could say like big person necessarily. We'll just go with that. I think that one's gonna be a lot tougher because it's like trying to go down to 10% as a big person is tough. It's really really tough. Now I could say that with some few exceptions of people that can like maintain that, which is like again commendable for you guys. Like that is fucking awesome. But it's like it just depends. Just like again, like for us normal whatever's that have like normal ways and whatnot, um, that's gonna be like a little bit different. Because if we go a lot lower, say like the single digit body fats, then that's gonna suck. That's gonna really really suck. But yeah, I say for the big persons or the big people whatnot, I think it's a little bit different. But I'll say like 50% body fat is like ideal. Now again, if you choose to want to go lower, that's up to you. Just just keep in mind like when you go like lower than 10, it's gonna suck ass. Cause 10%, from what I've heard, is like it's either good or bad depending on the hormones and whatnot. But it's like you can still be able to function. It's just like it's gonna be slightly tougher, but it just depends. But yeah, I say for Saitama, it's definitely realistically maintainable to maintain between 10 to 12% body fat, which is like really really great if you guys want to just like be relatively lean but also athletic and being able to do some like really cool things. Like I think it's also even easier for calisthenics athletes to even do too, which that's also what I'm planning to do is get down to at least in between 10 to 12% body fat to get better at calisthenics, and I really want to get better at that. So I think that would definitely be a beneficial. But otherwise, yeah, it's possible to realistically maintain at least like some of their physiques, except Goku and Vegeta for obvious reasons. Now, how are we doing time? We're doing okay. All right, so can you be able to transform yourself into a Super Saiyan? And the answer to the question is no. Unfortunately, you cannot be able to transform yourself into a Super Saiyan. It is it sucks because even for I also wanted to become a Super Saiyan for so long. Just going yeah, trying to like achieve something, but all I really got was screaming out loud and possibly you know having neighbors concerned about my well-being as I'm screaming out of the top of my lungs, attempting to turn Super Saiyan while they're probably hearing me screaming so loud, like they'll probably think I have an aneurysm or just whatever. It's a silly situation, but yeah, unfortunately, you cannot turn yourself into a Super Saiyan. You cannot turn yourself into a nine-tailed beast. You cannot go around, one punching everybody. You can't go around, conducting fire and just like, spreading fire everywhere on some firebender type shit. It's like it's unfortunate, but it's a fun question. But I would say like for anyone else, but there is a way to like achieve like, you know, a better version of yourself. That's a lot better, like the enhanced version that without that, which is like of course staying consistent with exercise and eating healthy and just all around just like achieving a better lifestyle. And to be a better you is just like also takes a lot of like time and effort and also a lot of like self development. And you know you'll get to be your 2.0 or whatever point 0 version of yourself that's better than the previous, and you're constantly evolving to become better and better as a person. But otherwise, yeah, nah, unfortunately we cannot turn into a Super Saiyan. Sorry to bust your bubbles there, guys, but we can only do that in our dreams, and sometimes we can probably use that for content, especially if you're a content creator like myself. So, you do something like that. But otherwise, in real life, we cannot turn into a Super Saiyan, unfortunately. But yeah, anyways, let's go ahead and talk about a little bit of nutrition. And that is, what foods do they normally eat to maintain a balanced energy? So from what I've seen so far, they eat like really, really big. Now there are some few exceptions where they eat a little bit smaller, but otherwise, majority of the time, them boys be eating good. They be eating good, especially mostly protein. Oh my god, delicious amount of meat. Now with if there's like any like vegetarian viewers that are watching this, you can substitute that to whatever is your liking, whether that's what you call it? What are the vegetarian foods that's out there? Like peas, soul food, I think. Plant based foods would make sense. Stuff like that. I need to look it up, but yeah, for the vegans and vegetarians, it's gonna be a little bit different. But otherwise, yeah, let's get back on track. With some foods here that they would mostly eat is meat, and boy oh boy do they be eating a lot of meat. Pause. They'll eat like beef, chicken, I think, fish, a lot of fish actually, and just like consuming it, and sometimes bloat it. But like whenever, okay, hold on, I'm saying what they normally eat. What they probably would normally eat would be just some type of like high protein, like for example, like I just mentioned, chicken, um, beef, steak. I would say would help. There's some like lettuce that they add to in the anime. All types of like really good stuff to like fuel their energy or whatnot. And sometimes they'll like substitute that with carbs, like with bread, with oh man, doing the nutrition part might be a little bit tough because I'm kind of like limited when it comes to that. So I'm gonna do my best to like list off like some like nutritions that they do eat, but I feel like I want to tackle this again. Maybe you know what, let's just keep it going. Um, yeah, bread. I would say cheese. Yeah, cheese could definitely work in this case. Um, tomato. Yeah, tomato would definitely work. And I think that's it. Like, oh, and although this is like unhealthy if you keep doing this, and I love ramen noodles, but like yeah, definitely each ramen noodles could somewhat help. Although the only thing that's gonna like kind of be a big factor is sodium. So I say treat that as a luxury food. Do not consume it on a daily basis because like that can actually really mess with your body. So it's best to just like eat that at a minimum, maybe for 1, 2, or hell, even 3 days if you want to. But that's it. You do not want to eat it every single day because that's gonna mess up your body. Straight up, like I'm telling you, man. Like I used to consume a lot of like noodles all the time, and it does mess with your system a lot sometimes. So it's best just to like keep it at a minimum. Just one time, or I don't know, just try not to overly consume that. High amount of sodium, high amount of sugar, all that good stuff. But anyways, diet vice aside, um, yeah, they mostly just eat like really high protein, some bit of low carb, and it's just usually just like that. And from what I've seen, is again mostly just the most common foods that we eat is beef and fish, and sometimes rice. But I think because like since anime takes place in Japan, it's just a normal thing for these characters to eat rice or sometimes eat noodles, but it just depends. But otherwise, yeah, it's definitely it helps to maintain like their balanced energies, especially since like they're on like an intense, situation with life, having to deal with like, bad guys and earth ending stuff happening all the time, and dealing with a lot of stress. So it's like after, long days of like training and also fighting against, the bad guys for like, I think for a couple hours or heck, even like a couple of days, sometimes, having like, the energy to at least, or sometimes you lose the energy to still keep going like that and you just need your downtime. You just got to chow it up, whatever it is. So, just do what you got to do. Just, again, don't overtrain, and, you know, make sure you eat, real good, proper food that's going to be sustainable. Whether that's you're a carnivore, both, vegan, or anything. Just like make sure you eat to sustain your energy and to, take care of that, I hope I did my best to explain that. I think I did an okay job. Next time, once I get like a bit more nuance with like nutrition and whatnot, I might probably revisit this with a better clarification of foods that most anime people eat on another time. But for now, I hope I did the best to talk about it as best as possible. But let's go ahead and get to another topic here, and that would be: do they train exclusively for hypertrophy or strength? Um, that's hard to say because like there are some characters that do it for hypertrophy. For example, I forgot this character's name, but he's like this really big dude, blonde hair with like blonde, mustache, and like he does work out, but he only does it, just like look good and just like be strong or whatnot. Whereas like I think his older sister is just she's a she's a feisty one and a leader, and she's kind of cool. But no, yeah, she's cool. I haven't seen Full Metal Alchemist in a minute, so here's the thing. I know that who these characters are. It's just it's been a long time. It's I just can't remember their names other than maybe the Eric brothers, like Eric and I think Eric is probably the only character I know. Damn it! I really need to watch Full Metal Alchemist again just to remember the characters' names, or probably just look it up real quick. But I'll find, of course. His name the little brother of Eric is Alpine. I didn't get back to watching anime again, guys. Anyways, besides that, the big boy himself usually trains for hypertrophy, whereas like I guess like someone with a bit of a similar physique, but just a little bit I can't say skinnier. A little bit skinnier. Guts. That boy does it for strength. He does not. The thing is, he he does like get stronger and he does like have like a really like rippling body, but that's because of the byproduct of having to survive and survive and survive and survive. So basically, Guts' life is basically Dark Souls. It's just it's Dark Souls. Like it was not easy. In fact, it's so messed up because boy literally, was born after his mother died. It's insane, bro. But otherwise, yeah, I would say in Gus's case, since all he does is pretty much wields a big ass sword to just like slay demons or whatnot, or try to slay what's the stupid face Gareth or not Gareth or Gunther Griffith. Yes, trying to like kill his ass, but for some reason, plot wise, he's like, oh, I can't get killed because I'm part of like this whole god group or whatever. It's lame as hell, but otherwise, yeah, it's whatever. But yeah, Guts usually uses strength to like get through his way out, whereas I think the big boy from Full Metal Alchemist usually does it for hypertrophy. Now he is strong in his own ways. I'm not discounting that. It's just that his main priority is to flex and look good and all this other stuff, which there's nothing wrong with doing. Again, if you want to do all that, by all means, do what you gotta do. Hell, I sometimes do that, even when I do calisthenics sometimes, which is hilarious. But nothing wrong with posing. He's got be pretty good at it. You know, it's the best thing ever. Anyways, let's get back on track. Let's go ahead and get to another topic. I think I'm gonna be brief with this, but like, how much cardio do they do on a daily basis? Now, to answer that, they mostly already do cardio, which is mostly like running and jumping and doing all that in a high situation. So they already do that in the show. So it's like I can't say much on that, but I would say someone on a daily basis, if they're not dealing with something like that, they would do either like a normal runner thing where they'll just like, you know, train for endurance or whatnot, or they'll do brisk walk. Depends, but majority of the time they do get their cardio in. Like a lot of like characters in anime or whatnot do get their cardio in from life or death situations that they usually encounter throughout the adventures of each respective series. You know. But yeah, that's just to quickly answer like how much cardio do they do on a daily basis. I would say they do it somewhat on a daily basis. It depends on the situation, but majority of the time they do that from already having to survive, a life or death situation majority of the time. So yeah, it's mostly all the time during each episode. So yeah. Now this one's, like I said, this one's lengthy, and this one might be my last point before we get to the outro, and that is, with the power, strength, and cardio conditioning we currently have, without the use of any type of fictional powers to enhance our abilities, is there a possibility to even push beyond human limitation and achieve something extraordinary? Or are we pretty much doomed to stay humans forever or whatnot? But we do our best to get closer to our goals, whatever that is. I would say it is possible to go beyond human limitations, but so far, like at least as of now, it's kind of hard to push beyond human limitations at the moment. Not to say that it has not been attempted. It has been attempted. We just haven't broke through barriers, at least as far as like our own body is concerned. We have broken a lot of like barriers when it comes to technology and when it comes to all this other stuff, but when it comes to our own body and our own mind, it's kind of a hit or miss. But I would say there is a possibility. It's just it depends on how much we're gonna evolve or even like survive in these next like couple of decades, or hell, a couple of centuries here. But so far, it's kind of been like a hit or miss because of just what's been going on for so long. But otherwise, I say there is a possibility. We just like gotta give it time. Just for now, I guess we're kind of like stuck with being humans. But here's the thing that we can do about it. We can get close to doing something extraordinary. Heck, I mean, Usain Bolt is pretty much close to extraordinary by running a lot and being the fastest man alive. To I would say one of the greatest like mixed martial arts fighters of all time, George St. Pierre, achieving like such like almost near perfection when it comes to all around fighting. When it comes to takedowns, to strikes, to submissions, to all types of like really cool things. So there is a possibility to go beyond like extraordinary, but it just depends. At least like within the bodies that we currently reside in. But I think it can definitely happen. Because again, George St. Pierre did it. Oh, man, it still gets me every now and then. But Kobe Bryant definitely did that. Usain Bolt, absolutely. Michael Phelps, anybody else that you can think of. If you're not like a sports nerd, obviously, it might be somebody else that's like different. Like I guess Elon Musk or there was this other guy too that did like God dang it. It's not. Hold on a second, guys. Let me look up something real quick. Okay, guys, I'm back. I just found out who that guy was. Nikola Tesla. You know, anything else like that. You know, something extraordinary, or Albert Einstein, or Isaac Newton, or whatever extraordinary person you can think of. It's like, yes, that can still be a possibility. Like we have done some things like that, but it's mostly just from technology, obviously. But when it comes to like advancing as a human species itself, um, we're getting close to it, albeit it just depends because like we can't really predict how we're all gonna look in like I don't know 100 years from now or 300 years, like whatever number. It's like it's hard to predict, but I would definitely say we could push beyond human limitations. I guess since AI is now becoming a thing, so yeah, I guess so. But then that means humanity might not cease to exist. I don't know. It's hard to say. It's very very hard to say. So all I can really say is just that the only thing that we can work on right now as human beings is just again take care of our health, take care of our minds, take care of what we got, because what we still got still does matter. I mean, heck, we're able to like do a lot of things that our forefathers probably could not do. So it's like, that is already a blessing already that we're able to do something just by existing in this world by doing something cool, I guess, or something like that. So I say we definitely should, try to, at least achieve something close to extraordinary by, becoming the best version of you, whether that's 2.0, 3.0, or whatever point oh. It can even be 10.0. The sky's the limit of what you can do. The only limit you got pretty much is yourself. So do not limit yourself. If that means you want to like become a bodybuilder, fucking become a bodybuilder. If you want to be an athlete with whatever you want to do, just do it. Like whatever you want to do with your life, do it. Like, I prefer like anyone to just do what the hell they want to do, especially if you're a grown person. Like, I don't give a fuck. Do what you gotta do. Again, just as long as you don't harm other people or yourself, just keep on going. Whatever that goal is, whether that's personal fitness, whether that's achieving something in business, anything you can hope to like do in your life, do it, because the last thing that anyone else would want to like deal with is regret. Like the regret to like take that next step. Do not fall into that. Whatever you want to do, just do it. Heck, even that means like having, again, like I kind of already talked about this before, but you know what, I'm gonna say it again. Even that's just simply just talking to another person, or if you're a guy, if that's just simply just like wanting to talk to someone you like, do it. Sometimes it's best to just let them know what's up. I mean, depending on the social cues, keep it subtle. But again, fuck it, do what you gotta do. Because at the end of the day, this is your life, and this is my life. So let's just do the best that we can to live our lives. Type shit. Now for the outro, how are we doing with time here first? Okay, we're doing good. Now for the outro, and that is stay healthy, exercise regularly. If that means having to do it 3 times a day or more, if you want to, do it. Exercise regularly. Whether that's, doing pull legs, full body exercise, whatever you gotta do, just exercise regularly. It's gonna help. And if you're in like a tight space, let's say like you're working or not, then it's a little, challenging. Albeit like you can still like, make it happen through like maybe, going twice, a day or whatnot. It depends. But otherwise, get your exercise regularly, whether that's, weightlifting, calisthenics, or both, or whatever you want to do. Get that going. Eat good quality food. I cannot emphasize this enough. Make sure that majority of the time you eat good. Now, I'm not saying you should get rid of junk food entirely, but if you want to do that, that is completely fine. But I will definitely say that, you just gotta eat your vegetables, eat your fruits, eat your bread if you want to. If you want to cut out some of that, maybe that can help. But just eat something nice. Heck, eat more protein if you want to add a little bit more size to your muscles or just anything really. But yeah, just let's go back to the food pyramid for a bit and just eat something like a well balanced diet that can help us maintain and sustain energy. And especially if you're planning to gain weight, if you're like a skinny person, or you want to lose weight if you're a bigger person. It's just it depends on what goal that you want to do with your life, especially when it comes to eating and moving and all that good stuff. And then the most important thing ever, and that is to stay consistent. Everything does not happen overnight. We do not have an amazing body the next day or the next night. And it would be, and the thing is, it would be all it's the thing is, if it were to happen overnight, that would be awesome. Except that's never going to happen. So the best you can do is just stay consistent. And who knows, it may take you maybe 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, maybe even a couple years. But as long as you stay consistent with, staying healthy, exercise regularly, eating good food, doing all that, and just staying consistent, you are on your way to success, my friend. Seriously, just stay consistent as best as possible. I stay consistent with, just trying to stay healthy, exercise regularly, eat good food, all that type of stuff. It's not easy. That's definitely been the toughest, but it's just you just got to stay consistent. You just got to stay consistent and trust the process. Because as long as you trust the process and you just keep on doing what you're going to do, eventually you will get there. Heck, I know eventually I will become a lean, mean, athletic machine or whatever I decide to do, or be a big, strong, big boy, or whatever. It's it takes a while, but as long as you stay consistent, whatever you do, again, staying healthy, exercise regularly, eating good food, and again, staying consistent, then you are on your way to success. It may not happen overnight. It may not even happen tomorrow. It's just what we have is today, and that's all you can really do is stay consistent with whatever you got to do and just keep on going. And even if you do make it there and you decide to try something else, go on ahead, because again, you only have your life, you only live once, right? So whatever you want to make out of life, just go for it. But anyways, how are we doing time? Okay, we're doing pretty good. I think we're almost at an hour, but I think I did a pretty okay job. Talk about the topics of anime and fitness. Doing the best I can with that. The only thing I might have messed up a bit on would have been the nutritious part. So that is entirely my bad, because I think with that it's just I just wanted to just talk a little bit about the health and proteins and all that other stuff, but I feel I'm kind of missing some important things, so I think I might have to revisit that at another time. But otherwise, just let me know if you guys enjoyed this video, and give it a like, comment, subscribe, and let's have a discussion on what's your thoughts on hypertrophy and strength, or bodybuilding, or any sort of topic that's just been talked about in this fitness slash anime topics that we just covered here. Or if you want to be on the nerd side, or just want learn a little bit more about anime, then yeah, let's comment down below on what's your favorite anime, what's whatever. Let's have a bit of discussion in the comments down below. A dialogue about fitness and anime and life and all that good stuff. But anyways, I think that's gonna be it. This is your boy Shizeman21 signing out, and I'll see you guys in another episode of. Actually, before I even say that, all I gotta say is stay healthy, stay consistent, stay being yourself, stay doing what you gotta do, stay being lovey, stay being your best that you can be. I don't know what I'm saying. All I'm saying is just stay being fucking awesome. There we go. Anyways, that's all I gotta say. This is your boy Shazman. This is your boy Shazman21 sign out, and I'll see you guys in another episode of Weeb Talk. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.